To get into the spirit of this video, I, of course, had to find some stuff that was related to the year 2016. First, we have the 2015-16 Leicester City away Premier League shirts. They won the league that season, if you don't remember. And right next to me is my nice little Denver Broncos mug, as this was the year my Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl. It's all gone downhill from there, but at least I can cherish this. The Golden Boy is an award that is given by sports journalists to the most exceptional young footballer in Europe. Every year there's a nominee list with about 30 to 40 players that are under the age of 21. But today we'll be going back to 15 players from the 2016 Golden Boy nominees and seeing where they are now. Before I start this video, of course, if we can get a nice like goal of 100 likes, I'll do another year, whatever one's voted the most in the comments below. Renato Sanches, Bayern Munich. Sanchez was just only 18 years old when he got the call up to the Portuguese Euro 2016 side. And he wasn't just a throwaway piece that was sat on the bench, he played multiple matches during the knockout stages. In fact, he was a decent part of the Portuguese attack. He even scored a goal against Poland, and as a result, he won Young Player of the Tournament. Soon after, Bayern Munich came knocking on Benfica's door and purchased Renato Sanches for 35 million. But although such a huge prospect, especially at the age of 18, Bayern Munich didn't really play him that much. Renato played 17 times, and 11 of those were off the bench, and he never really got to shine in such a stacked Bayern side. So the next year he was loaned out to Swansea, and it didn't really go that well. Coming back to Bayern, it really wasn't that great either, as Sanchez would only play 18 times in 2 seasons. So once 2019 came around, Lille purchased his services for 20 million. He was getting more playtime, he was being in the preferred position, and he was under the guidance of Christophe Gauthier. And as a result, Sanchez's confidence went up, and he's been so important for Lille's ball progression ever since. This year he was actually linked with multiple top clubs, including Liverpool, but unfortunately he was injured, and that stopped everything. But at just 24, there's still time on Renato's side to become the star we envisioned him to be 5 years ago. I'm pretty confident it does happen because he's definitely grown quite a lot at Lille. Dele Alli, Spurs. The first thing that pops up in my mind whenever I think of Dele Alli is, well, 1, hatred because he plays for Tottenham, but also 2, his fantastic volley against Crystal Palace. This man was on the rise back in 2016, scoring 10 goals and 9 assists as a 19-year-old in the Premier League. And the very next season, he scored a whopping 18 goals and assisted 7. And having had 2 fantastic seasons, he also won PFA Young Player of the Year twice. It was at one point many saw Dele Alli as the start of a new era for Spurs. But things didn't really go out that way. Instead, they kind of fizzled out. Injuries started to pile up, and it made sense because Dele Alli had been playing professional football since the age of 16. As time went by, he became more and more inconsistent because of these injuries, and he's also considered a pretty lazy player with not very much motivation.
Lazy.
And this could be in part due to the fact that Pochettino never really invested anything into the midfield for quite some time. So Dele Alli never actually had any competition. It's unfortunate for Dele Alli. He was once very much at the top of his game, and he's just dipped down, and it doesn't seem like his form's ever going to return. He was linked with a loan move to PSG. There were rumors that he was pretty dissatisfied by the fact that the move never happened. But at just the age of 25, whether it be just a rejuvenation at Spurs or just at another club, Dele Alli still has some time. Will we ever see the potential many believed he could reach? Probably not, but you never know. Marco Ascencio, Real Madrid. After a loan spell with Espanyol that tallied 12 assists, Ascencio made an explosive return to Madrid, scoring in the UEFA Super Cup. In the 2016-17 season, he scored 10 goals, including 1 in the Champions League final against Juve. I remember watching this player and thinking to myself, yeah, this could be the future of the Spanish midfield. It really hasn't turned out that way. Throughout Asencio's career, there's been a reoccurring pattern throughout every season. He'll explode right off the bat at the beginning of the season, decline in the fall, and then bounce back later in the spring. And an ACL injury in 2019 would just make things far worse. Ascencio did score his first ever hat-trick for Real Madrid this season against Mallorca, so it's a boost of confidence, but again, Marco Ascencio for now is a bust. Leon Bailey, Gank. Leon Bailey spent a season and a half before going to Leverkusen in January for 16.7 million. During his time at Gank, he scored 12 goals and assisted 15. And during his first full season at Leverkusen, he scored 12 goals and assisted 5. And mind you, he was only just 19. The next 2 seasons were pretty underwhelming after what seemed to be a breakout season in 2017-18 for the young Jamaican. But a tactical change in simplifying how the wingers played, and Leon Bailey's career had a resurgence as he became a star in Leverkusen's attack. 15 goals he bagged and and to top it all off, 10 assists. And as a result, Aston Villa decided to purchase his services for 32 million. Bailey is just 24, has already scored for Aston Villa, and sure, there's more to come. Kingsley Coman, Bayern Munich. Every year, the Kingsley Coman trophy meme hits deeper. But after an underwhelming time at Juventus, Coman was loaned out for 2 years to Bayern Munich. And in his first season, he scored 6 goals and assisted 11 times. This included a goal against his parent club in the Champions League. And before his 20th birthday, he had won his 8th club trophy. But unfortunately, in the second season for Bayern, Coman suffered some injuries. It reduced him to just 2 goals in the season, but Bayern was still convinced to make the permanent move. Coman was bought for 21 million and he bounced back spectacularly. 7 goals and 8 assists in 32 matches. And ever since, Coman has been relatively injury-free and he's been a useful player for Bayern. And of course, you can't forget the winning goal in the Champions League that he scored for Bayern against yet another former club in PSG. Gianluigi Donnarumma, AC Milan. Gianluigi Donnarumma's breakthrough did not wait at all. He made his debut at just 16 years and 242 days. And he was also hailed the future of Milan and of Italian football by first-choice keeper Diego Lopez. In fact, a lot of people saw him as the heir to Gianluigi Buffon. And just within another year, Gianluigi was pretty much the certified #1. About a few months later, he helped Milan win the Supercoppa Italiana after saving Paulo Dybala's penalty in a shootout. He became the youngest player to ever reach 100 starts for AC Milan too. And over the years, Donnarumma's save percentage has never been below 70%, which is quite incredible knowing how bad defenses for AC Milan have been in the past. This man single-handedly saved AC Milan countless times during their dark age. And let's not forget about the international level accomplishments. Youngest Italian player to be called up to the senior squad since 1911. Youngest keeper to ever play for Italy, aged 17 years and 189 days. And of course, you can't forget about those penalty shootout performances in Euro 2020, including the penalty shootout final against Italy, where he saved 2 penalties and helped Italy lift the trophy high for the first time since 1968. Donnarumma was named player of the tournament, and it's the first time a goalkeeper has ever won that award in the Euros. And to think he's only 22 years old, he's just made a move to PSG, he is easily the best keeper of this generation. Marcus Rashford, Manchester United. It was a February night in 2016 when Marcus Rashford burst onto the scene, scoring 2 goals on his debut. Then just 3 days later, he haunted Arsenal with 2 goals and an assist in his Premier League debut. And it didn't stop there, as he'd score the only goal in a win against Man City. And even though United bought Zlatan Ibrahimovic the very next season, Rashford still managed to tally up 11 goals. He continued to improve, and in the 2019-20 season, he had his best run of scoring form to date. 16 goals in 20 matches. 2021 saw pretty similar numbers when he scored 21 goals and assisted 13. It was also mentioned last April too, he had not played a game completely pain-free in 2 years. And you know, keep that in mind with the fact that he's also had his best 2 seasons to date. And of course, we can't forget about Marcus Rashford off the pitch. He's been the UK's best campaigner for child hunger, he's used social media to push his societal change, and for his efforts, he was even rewarded the MBE. Marcus since 2015 has scored 88 goals in 271 appearances. He is still only 23, by the way, and we have definitely not seen his peak yet. Youri Tielemans, Anderlecht. Youri Tielemans had been playing in Anderlecht since the age of 16, and in his very first season he scored a goal and assisted 5. But what really got him some recognition was his 2016-17 season. 16 goals and 13 assists in all competitions. And this in turn earned his first move to Monaco. 25 million was the price, and it ended up being quite the mistake for Monaco, as Tielemans just could never adapt. France Football even named Tielemans in their list of biggest flops of the first half of the season. Tielemans was then loaned to Leicester, where his form was rejuvenated and was displaying what made him such an exciting prospect in the first place. And after 1 season, Leicester were more than convinced and purchased him for 32 million. Nowadays, Youri Tielemans has become such an important aspect of the Leicester midfield. He's highly intelligent and has incredible passing ability. Tielemans recently just scored that banger against Chelsea to win Leicester City the FA Cup too. And he's still quite young, 24 years old, there's still plenty of time to achieve a lot more. The question is though, will he stay at Leicester or will he move elsewhere? Maybe to a club he's been linked with very strongly, Liverpool. Kelechi Iheanacho, Man City. In 2015-16, Kelechi Iheanacho earned himself a place in the senior team and impressed right off the bat. He scored 8 goals and had the best goals per minute ratio of any player, averaging a goal every 93.9 minutes. Then in 2017, Leicester decided to purchase him for 27.7 million. And honestly, he was looking like a straight bust, only scoring 9 goals in 3 seasons. But then the 2020-21 season came around. Iheanacho had only started 2 Premier League matches out of a possible 21 at the time. But Leicester also had a massive injury issue, and it allowed Iheanacho to have some more chances. And boy oh boy, did he take them. 12 goals in 10 matches. He even scored his first ever hat-trick against Sheffield United, and even won Premier League Player of the Month in March. Then to make things even better, he helped Leicester City win the Community Shield, and also scored against the former club of his, Man City. Kelechi's career has been interesting for sure, and it's going to be interesting to see how this season fares for him. Usman Dembele Ren. Was he left or right-footed? Hell, he didn't even know. I remember Usman Dembele early on into his career was considered pretty much the next big thing. There'd be videos all around the internet about his technical abilities and his skills, and it just mesmerized anyone. During his debut season for Ren in the 2015-16 season, he scored 12 goals and assisted 5. And that earned him a move to Dortmund for 35 million, where Usman again was really impressive, as the 19-year-old would assist 19 times, and also just to add on top of that, 10 goals. Usman was even included in the Bundesliga team of the season that year. And when you thought he was going to have another season, then came the big money move to Barcelona. But this is when things took a turn for the worse for Dembele. One of those things was match fitness. Dembele didn't exactly have the best sleep pattern or diet, and it really caught up to him. In his first season alone, he missed 20 games with a hamstring injury. Usman did bounce back the very next season, as he scored 14 goals and assisted 8. Maybe now we could see his full potential. And then injury struck again. He was out for 66 days, and when he came back immediately, he picked up another injury that made him miss another 191 days. In that season, he only made just 5 starts. Dembele is easily one of the biggest busts on this list, and it's sad to see because this was once a player in the conversation with Mbappe. I felt bad for him, especially since he was my favorite player. And then the Japan incident happened. And now I'm happy to see his career crash and burn. Lucas Hernandez, Atletico Madrid. Hernandez was promoted to the main squad during the 2015-16 season. He didn't really do much besides feature in some penalty shootouts. The following season though, he actually became more of an important role in the Atleti side, averaging a rating of a 7.04 in La Liga. And then the following season, he became even more of a bigger figure. He played 44 matches in the 2017-18 campaign and even helped Atleti win the Europa League. But his last year in Madrid wasn't exactly ideal. First, he was announcing that he was departing for Bayern Munich, and the next thing you know, he had an injury. This would pretty much limit him to just 12 starts. After Lucas Hernandez's 80 million move to Bayern Munich, he hasn't really been anything special. Just overall, he's a solid defender, whether it be on the left or in the center. Although Hernandez did start in every single match during France's World Cup 2018 winning campaign. Leroy Sane. Shalka. Leroy Sane is easily one of the more underappreciated talents, or at least at that time on this list. In his breakout season, he scored 9 goals and assisted 7. One of the memories I have during this period was his goal against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Man City were impressed enough and decided to drop a casual 50 million on the 19-year-old. In his first year, he scored 9 goals and assisted 7. Not bad. But he mentioned over the off-season that there was a blockage in his nose, and it was suppressing his abilities in a way. So after some surgery, Sane returned and showed off just exactly what he could do. And a lot more. He scored 14 goals and assisted a whopping 19 times, 15 of which were in the Premier League. As a result, he'd win PFA Young Player of the Year, and also Man City won the league. And Sane again had another fantastic year in the 2018-19 season. He ended it with 16 goals and 7 assists, and one of those goals was a vital one, actually in fact a winner against Liverpool. This would be the only loss for Liverpool throughout the entire season, and also the deciding factor of Man City's second consecutive title. But unfortunately, the football gods had enough, as they struck down upon Sane's ACL. He missed pretty much the entire 2019-20 season as a result, and soon after, at the end of the season, he rejected a contract extension, opting for a move to Bayern Munich. Bayern paid just 45 million, probably due to scares Sane could have more injury issues. ACLs aren't exactly something you can easily bounce back from. Sane's first season at Bayern wasn't exactly that great, but he's definitely looked a lot better this year. Andreas Christensen. Mönchengladbach. Christensen has spent most of his career at Chelsea, whether it be at youth level or senior level. He was given one singular opportunity during the 2014-15 season for Chelsea, and then he was loaned out to Mönchengladbach. The young Dane in his debut campaign won Mönchengladbach's Player of the Season, and also Mönchengladbach finished 4th. Christensen again had a great season at Mönchengladbach and returned to Chelsea, where he'd start 23 times and also win Chelsea's Young Player of the Year. But when Sarri Ball arrived, things just kinda didn't work out there. But once Sarri left, things got a lot better for what they called the Danish Maldini. And he even put an amazing defensive shift in the 2021 Champions League final after Thiago Silva went down injured. This season, Christensen has also been pretty much a main part of the Chelsea back three. Damari Gray, Leicester City. No disrespect to Damari, but yeah, somehow he got a vote. In the final months at Birmingham City before his January move, he had 6 goals and 1 assist. But the move to Leicester really did not work out for Damari Gray. He had his moments though, including the goal against Manchester United at Old Trafford, or Leicester's emotional winning goal against Cardiff. He had a stint with Leverkusen early on in 2021, but he didn't really get that many chances. Although things look better with his new club Everton this year. He's already got 3 goals and 1 assist in just 6 starts. Damari Gray's appearance in the Premier League came way too early, but now that he's starting to kind of establish himself, could we see more? And finally, Mahmoud Dahoud, Mönchengladbach. It is very impressive to not only establish yourself in the midfield at just 19, but to also get a literal standing ovation from opposing supporters. Mahmoud Dahoud during his Mönchengladbach days was impressive as hell. In his breakout season in 2015-16, he scored 5 goals and assisted 8. And 2 years later, Dortmund acquired his services for 12 million. But unfortunately, he just wasn't as great as he was at Mönchengladbach. Soon, more favorable midfielders just made competition way more difficult, and that, alongside injuries breeding inconsistency, left Dahoud on the bench to rot. But due to some injury problems during Dortmund's 2020-21 season, Dahoud has had more chances, and he's capitalized on them. And as a result, this season, he's been included in the squad 9 times. So again, another player that had a really good start, went down a level a bit, and then seemingly has a little bit of a resurgence. It seems to be the pattern of 2016 Golden Boys. Obviously, I think the best Golden Boy out of this entire list has to be Gianluigi Donnarumma. But if you have any opposing opinions, I'd love to hear them down in the comments below. Of course, if we get to 100 likes, then I will do another one of these videos. Special thanks to the patrons, of course, Lewis, Emmett Shea, Dominic Griffin, Joseph Bonfante, and Tomacus. If you'd like to join the Patreon, there's a link down below and also up in the annotations. You can also follow my Twitter where there's video updates. You can follow my Instagram if you want. Follow my TikTok trying to get to 2,000, and also you can follow my Twitch if you'd like. But until then, I'll see you guys.